I finally got my hands on the Kiko Milano and Bridgerton lipsticks. The Satin Shine lipsticks, they weren't available for a long time. I got some online and also went to Antwerp and they had them all there in store. They didn't have that here in Rotterdam. So I ended up with 3 shades that I'm going to be lip swatching. I'm going to be telling you about the formula. But I also got the 2 other shades of blush from the Gold Reflections collection. I tried one of the blushes, fell in love with it, got 2 more blushes. I also got another quad from the Bridgerton collection and I got the lip gloss. And I got 1 more of the liquid eyeshadow. If you can't tell, I am obsessed with these new collections. Like, I really love them, so I want to show you more. We're gonna dive into it a little further with more shades, more options, more formulas. So let's get into it. Alright, we're gonna start out with the eyes. I got the Bridgerton Quartet eyeshadow palette and I got the colorway 03 Romantic Rhapsody. And this is the one that has kind of like pink shades, but then also a pop of gold. This just looks like a really nice color story, a little bit more pinky, a little bit more mauve-y, I think. The one that I already had was a shade 02 Ballroom Bliss. This one was the one that was more like neutral brown and a pop of purple. I was so impressed with that one that I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab another one. Do have to mention, I do kind of like stalk the Kiko website because sometimes they give you a code, and I believe I ordered this quad when I had like 10% off and then an extra 15, and then I ordered the lipsticks and the gloss and the liquid eyeshadow when I got like a 20% off coupon. It's a tip that I want to share. If you want to save some money on Kiko Milano, just like refresh their website and go on the website at different times if you feel like you have the time for that. I apparently have too much time on my hands, but sometimes I just log in from another device and suddenly I get 20% off, and sometimes that's worth it. Sometimes like I check the website anyway because I want to see if there is anything new. But yeah, the eyeshadow palette. But I'm also gonna use the Gilded Glaze Shimmering Cream eyeshadow, and I got the shade 03. So the shade that I already had was shade 01 Lady Whistledown's Whisper, and this was kind of like that rose gold situation, and I loved it so much that I also got the purple shade. The other shade is a little bit too golden for me, so we're gonna use this as a base and we're gonna use the eyeshadow palette. So today I'm actually not gonna use another eyeshadow primer underneath, just to see what that does. Usually I do kind of have to use an eyeshadow primer, then a liquid eyeshadow, but let's see. So this is kind of like, it's an interesting shade. It's like this cool tone purple, but it also has some warm tones in it. It's kind of like duochrome in a way. Also, when I have it on my finger like this, I just did warm purple and cool purple all together. So let's apply just with my finger and see if it's just as easy to use as the more neutral one. That is really pretty. It is kind of like subtle in a way because it's not full on pigment. It's kind of like this wash of color, but I do really like it. I feel like you can probably build it up a little and make it more pigmented, but I kind of like that wash of color effect. I'm gonna build it up a little bit so you can see, but still kind of like see your eyelid through. I think that's really cute. That is just, and this is what it looks like on my finger. That is just a very nice like in between a colorful eyeshadow, like full on pigment impact and something a little bit more subtle. And I'm gonna build up this side a little as well. That is just very cute. I love purple eyeshadow. And it's very duochrome-y, it's very cool. Alright, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, but I feel like it's already dry for the most part. I'm gonna start out by using this pink shade in the crease, and I'm just gonna see what that does. Just taking a little bit of that matte shade. I think this is gonna be a really nice combination. And I do like shimmer like this kind of as a base. I do feel like the shimmer kind of disappears a little bit where I apply that matte. Like it does cover it a little bit. I still like it, but I think I like it better with having an actual eyeshadow base underneath it all. But it's working, but I think I would love it even more if I did that. Okay, I'm gonna grab a little bit of this purplish pink shimmer and I'm gonna put that kind of like over here in the outer part of the lid. That is really pretty. This is a really interesting formula, very different from anything I've ever tried from Kiko Milano. Let me know if you recognize this formula, if you've seen it anywhere before. Gonna see if I can blend this a little. I think that's looking really cute. I'm gonna use the brown as a liner. And I'm just using a flat brush and adding a bit of definition. This is a very pigmented brown that went a bit further than I was expecting. Should have been a little bit more careful. A little bit more blending. I'm liking it, I'm liking it. I'm just gonna leave it like this, I think. And for the face, I'm gonna use this Gold Reflections Flawless Mirage Luminous Face Base. I already tried this in the video, but I want to use it again today. And I don't have any other like base product that I want to use. And I'm just taking a brush to apply because I have shimmer all over my hands from the eyeshadow and all the swatching that I've done today. Alright, so the bronze is on, the brows and the mascara is done as well. I am quickly gonna use a little bit of the Kiko Milano Gold Reflection Sunkissed Baked Bronzer in 02 Sienna. This is one that I also already showed in a video, but I just wanted to, like, if you haven't seen those other videos, I just wanted to incorporate them as well. I'm grabbing a Cinch F05. This is such a nice baked bronzer. I love it. Smells very strong. Very typical for Kiko Milano's summer collection bronzers, but it's gorgeous on the skin. And I feel like it works really well on top of that bronzy primer as well. So as I said, I grabbed 2 more of the blushes. I now have all shades. But these are my favorite baked blushes Kiko Milano has ever done. Like, this formula is so amazing. It's so creamy. It's so yummy. And I just could not help myself. I also feel like we're not seeing enough Kiko Milano blushes, baked blushes. So first up I have the Fusion Glow Blush in 01 Radiant Biscuit. And this one, when I opened it, the pen was loose, but now it seems to be fine again. It seems to be stuck in there again, so maybe it had to be pressed back a little bit again. I do have to say that the pens of these do seem to be a little looser than other products that I've tried from them. Like, it's a little interesting. Don't know if I would travel with them, but this is kind of like a bronzy mauve shade, very bronzy, but has feeling kind of like this bronzer kind of look with this one. And then we also have shade 02, and this one is Sunkissed Coral. I do think that this is quite a cool tone pink for being named Sunkissed Coral. This is quite similar to the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Powder Blush in Happy, kind of like that vibe. Very cool tone pink, very glowy. I wouldn't say this is probably not cheaper than that one. It's not a dupe, but it's a similar vibe. But I love cool tone pink blushes. So I was thinking I kind of want to do Biscuit as a bronzer topper, and then I want to do a little bit of the Sunkissed Coral shade, kind of like more towards the apples. I don't want to do different sides, different blushes today. I'm just gonna grab my Cinch F06 and I'm gonna grab a little bit and kind of like going a little bit towards the back here. We're gonna go for a really bronzy look today, and a little on the forehead as well. It's very pigmented. Maybe I'm taking a little too much. That's starting to look a little crazy. I'm gonna grab something to blend it with. I went overboard. Just a bit of blending, but I feel like that's looking good. Okay, on the other side I'm gonna go in a little bit more carefully. Gonna be a little bit more chill. This is just such a gorgeous baked formula. It looks so creamy, looks so glowy, and it doesn't have any shimmer. And that is something that I do like. It's just smooth and glowy. Yeah, that just gave me a super, super bronzy look. But not in an orange way, because it has kind of like that mauve bronzy undertone. And I'm taking my bronzer brush and kind of blending that all together. Yeah, next time I'm gonna take a little bit less Or maybe even like skip the bronzer completely and just use this as my bronzer, because I don't feel like I really need both when I use this blush. Okay, let's move on to Sunkissed Coral. I think this is gonna be my favorite of the two, although I really like how this is looking. I'm just gonna take the same blush brush and I'm gonna apply this more towards the apples. Oh, that is gorgeous. That is really nice. That is just stunning. I love glowy blushes so much. Not glittery, glowy. That's so pretty. I am really happy that I bought these. I think these are gonna be my new favorite Kiko Milano blushes, and maybe even my new favorite blushes in my entire collection. I can see that totally happening because every time I apply these, I'm just obsessed. You definitely do not need a highlighter with this. Should I apply a little bit of highlighter? Just go all out with the look? I will, probably. I'm gonna grab the Kiko Milano Gold Reflections Gleaming Waves All Over Highlighter in 01 Magical Gold. This is one of their baked gelée highlighters. So not one of their baked highlighters, but their baked gelée. Which I also feel they don't do enough. So let's add a little bit of that. That makes it a little bit more golden. Okay, so these are the cheeks now. I feel like the skin is just very bronzy, very glowy. I like it. Alright, let's move on to the lip products. We have a bunch of lip products to try. First up, this Bridgerton Kiko Milano Brilliant Bliss Lip Gloss in 04. So I ended up really enjoying the one in 02. Was it 02 that I bought? It was a something Nectarine. I will probably put up the swatch for you to see what I had before. That one was a cream one. This is a shimmer one, and this is kind of like a raspberry red, kind of like pinky red with multicolored shimmers in it. It has gold, it has purple, it has pink. And I do love a red gloss, so let's try it out. I feel like Kiko Milano has really stepped it up with the limited edition lip glosses. I think like a year or so ago they did some glosses, or was it 2 years ago, that I didn't really love from my limited editions, but since then I've only tried really good glosses from their limited editions. And yeah, this is just a really nice shade. I think the shimmer is still kind of subtle, it's not chunky, it looks nice and kind of like 3D. If I really rub my lips together, I can feel a little bit of shimmer, but I don't mind it. I feel like this feels very nice, plush, hydrating. I really like this formula. So this is like another one of the shades. When I swatched in the store, I thought it was going to be a little bit more like in your face shimmery, but it's kind of subtle still. And then it's time to move on to the Satin Shine lipstick from the Bridgerton collection. So I have shade 01, which is called, of course it doesn't say on the bullet, it never does. It never does. Alright, give me information. So this one is called Ball Gown Blush. And this is kind of like this rosy, peachy, nudish shade, kind of like my lips but better, very kind of like in between warm and cool, very rosy. Then we also have shade 03. This is not available in the Netherlands. I couldn't get this one online, but I saw this one in Antwerp and I swatched it and I thought, you know what, it looks like a nice shade. So this one is Timeless Love. And this one is kind of like a rosy shade but a little deeper. It is kind of like that ball gown blush, but just a little bit more brown. I have to say I'm surprised that they put two so very similar shades in the same collection. It's just like a tint darker, but it's very similar. Of course, you're still gonna see it on the lips. Maybe it's not as similar as I'm thinking now, but I have a feeling. And then we also have shade 05, and 05 is a Lover's Whisper. And this is quite a bright shade. It is kind of like a bright berry tone. It's gonna be a little bit more out there. I hope these shades are gonna be not too slippery, not too slidey, but I have quite high hopes. I feel like they swatch really nicely. They look really nice. But probably the two nude shades are gonna be my favorites. And then the other one, don't know how much I'm actually gonna wear it, but it's a really cool shade. I do like the shade. Do have to mention, these seem pretty soft, and when I swatched there three, I kind of felt like the bullet kind of moving, so be careful, don't push these out totally, like they are a little like creamy soft. Alright, let's start with the first shade. This is Ball Gown Blush. Alright, I personally do love these kinds of shades, kind of lighter, kind of fresh. It's very rosy. I would probably pair it with a little bit of a lip liner. It's very creamy, it's very shiny. I do feel like this is not that super thin formula that Kiko Milano sometimes does. Sometimes they do this thinner formula in their shiny lipsticks, but I feel like this one is a little bit more pigmented, feels a little bit more substantial on the lips. I really like this shade. I think it's really pretty, very Bridgerton-esque. For a light shade, I feel like it looks quite flattering on the lips. I don't really see any weirdness. I don't really see anything unflattering happening there. So yeah, actually, I really like this one. This is a good one. I think it's really cute. And do these have a scent? Maybe very subtle. Subtle, very subtle something, but not very strong, not as some of their products. So yeah, this is a Ball Gown Blush. And then next up we have 03, and this was Timeless Love. This is a really pretty, kind of like slightly darker nude shade. It's not as similar as I thought to the first one. The first one is definitely more of that fresh, pinky, cute, and this is a little bit more grown up, a little bit more brown in the undertone. I think this is a really nice one as well. Looks really flattering on the lips. I really like this formula. It just looks really good. But yeah, with this one, with the application, I felt like I had to be a little careful to not have it like melt all over and go all over. But the end result is really cute. And of course we have 05 Lover's Whisper. This shade I would definitely wear with a little bit of a lip liner. This is a little bit hard to apply because it's very pigmented, but I do have to say I really like this shade. I think it's a really cute one, and I think this is gonna tell me the most about like how this is gonna wear, what is the wear time. Is it gonna be like going all over my face? I'm gonna add a little bit of a lip liner though. And here we have the finished look. Honestly, there's not much else to say about these products. I bought these products because I was already so in love with these collections, and these didn't disappoint. I'm very excited to use these even more. Let me know if you picked anything up from these collections, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.